Was the latest release from Mill Creek RAD a RAD movie? Find out in my latest RAD review of RAD. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel for my latest review of the new Mill Creek release of RAD. This is a steelbook from Mondo as well. This just came out this past Tuesday. And yeah, I actually saw this in Best Buy this week, so it's available to pick up in stores. It's available online on Amazon right now, and I will leave the link for purchase down below if you are interested in getting this based on my review, or if you were already getting it and just wanted to solidify that fact, use the link down below to purchase. Before we get into this movie, I want to ask that if you are not yet a subscriber of the Mid-Level Media channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more great content. I do all kinds of awesome content on this channel centered around the world of physical media, movies, entertainment. I do reviews like this. I do weekly Blu-ray hunts. I do thrifting vlogs, dollar store vlogs, all kinds of hunts involving me going out and purchasing Blu-rays and DVDs and showing them off to you guys, collection videos, physical media reports, weekly live streams with other collectors. I did one this week with Basement Blues, had an awesome time talking physical media. Just so much content on this channel, so I would definitely recommend that you hit that subscribe button. Let's get into this movie, guys, because I finished this one actually a couple of nights ago. So RAD is a movie from 1986, so it came out like right in that prime era of BMX biking, like when it was at its popularity. It is directed by Hal Needham, which I didn't know this until I just looked it up before doing this, but he directed a lot of Burt Reynolds films. He did Smokey and the Bandit Part 1 and 2, Cannonball Run Part 1 and 2. So this guy has done a lot of very notable stuff within the film industry, and he directed this movie. It is also starring Bill Allen as Crew Jones, who is this aspiring BMXer. I think he goes to high school still, and he just aspires to be in this BMX tournament. He wants to be a BMXer. That's what he wants to do with his life. This is his moment. This is his time. This is his passion. Your stereotypical, I don't want to go to school. I want to do something with my life. I want to live my dream type of character. And then you have Lori Loughlin. She's in this movie as the love interest, but also kind of a trainer, kind of a mentor to Crew Jones as well. She's like teaching him tricks. She's a very capable BMXer in her own right. So that's actually kind of interesting that they didn't just throw her into this movie strictly as a love interest, but she's actually serves a purpose to Crew and how he develops as a BMX rider during this film. So that was actually kind of interesting that they did that with her character. You also have Talia Shire, who you know as Yo Adrian from the Rocky movies. She is the mom in this movie. So the movie actually has a pretty decent cast of some notable talent in it. And I mean, what can you say, guys? This movie is just pure fun 80s cheese. That just came about at the popularity of the BMX era. So this holds a special place in a lot of people's heart that remember it from back then. This is the first time watching me. This is the first time seeing it. Like, I only really heard of this movie a year or a couple of years ago when they were first announcing the RAD Vinegar Syndrome 4K release. So this isn't something I grew up with. This is just something that came in. So I don't have those nostalgic goggles to kind of lean on for better enjoyment of this film. But just as a first time watch, it's a fun movie. It's a harmless movie. It has that 80s cheese, and I love me some good 80s cheese. There are some really cool stunts in this movie. I thought that everything was shot really well. It was like watching the X Games on ESPN or something. So from that perspective, like, I did enjoy watching it. It was entertaining. I had fun. Bill Allen, though, isn't the best actor in this movie. He's kind of got, these doughy eyes and this kind of blank stare throughout the film, and he's kind of whiny. He reminded me a tiny bit of Luke Skywalker from A New Hope. He's not the best actor, but in the more capable hands of Talia Shire, of Lori Loughlin, who he does most of his interactions with throughout the film, I feel like he's serviceable in this role enough, just with them kind of helping build him up throughout the film. He has good chemistry with them, especially Lori Loughlin. I actually thought they had a sweet relationship together. Like I said, she's not just his love interest, she's also his mentor. So she's helping train him to be a better BMX rider. And there is a scene in this movie that you have to see it to believe it, because as I was watching it, I was just, in my mind, I was dumbfounded. I'm like, is this really happening right now on the screen? This could only happen in the 80s, in 80s movies. They're at a dance, they're at a school dance. they both break out their bikes, Lori Loughlin and Crew Jones, who I don't remember Lori's character. That's why I keep calling her Lori Loughlin. But they break out their BMX bikes during the dance, and they dance on the dance floor on the bikes. They do a bike dance right in the middle of the dance, and it is completely ridiculous. It's almost like as it's played as serious, like it's the end of Dirty Dancing when they're dancing, but they're on bikes, and it's like, is this really happening? Is this real life? But like I said, they had great chemistry together. In this movie, it just, you know, there's some twists and turns. There's some obstacles for him to overcome throughout the movie. But at the end of the day, there is a happy ending. There is a feel-good moment at the end. So this movie kind of leaves you in a good spot and kind of makes you feel good about your life. And having that positive feeling at the end of a film is always good. So as for the movie itself, guys, like I said, it's a pretty generic movie from the 80s. Like I wouldn't even call it like Top Gun is like prestige cheese level. This is more like mediocre 80s cheese, and it doesn't feel, it feels like if it came out at any other time of any other era, it would have not done as well as it did during this era. So like it's pretty generic, but you know, without the nostalgic goggles, like I'm sure a lot of people have. A lot of people love this movie, hold it up as one of their favorites of all time. Without that, for me, it's just kind of in the middle, kind of okay. So I give it a 2.5 out of a 5 for an actual movie. Now let's move on to the packaging, guys. Like I've already done the unboxing video of this on my channel, so I'm not gonna do a full unboxing here, but just looking at this steelbook again, you flip it. This is a really awesome steelbook, a RAD steelbook, if you will. You look inside, you got some awesome disc art in there as well. So yeah, it's, you know, you got stuff on the inside. Like you rarely get this with steelbooks anymore, artwork on the inside. So I think the packaging, I gotta give it a 5 out of a 5. I think this is an awesome steelbook. One of the better steelbooks that I've seen in recent years, actually. And I really like the fact that they have a slipcover to this, and they have this on the back as well. The specs and the casting list and the special features on the back of the slipcase, and they don't have a stupid J card, because the J cards annoy me. But it's for the packaging, guys, a 5 out of a 5. It's a perfect score for the packaging. As for the visuals, guys, I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, they've already done a 4K scan and release of this movie that Vinegar Syndrome did. Now that one is very hard to find now, and you're gonna pay top dollar for it if you want it, but I imagine, I've seen images of that. That is a much better transfer and probably the definitive way to watch this movie. This is fine. Like in the beginning, like some of the shots just aren't the clearest when they're doing the BMX bikes. Like it picks up a little bit in the middle and looks a little bit better, but there are some definite drops in quality throughout this film. So I give it a 3.5 out of 5 for the visuals. For the audio, guys, it's a pretty good audio. There is a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. I give it a 4 out of a 5. Like it's not terrible, it's not bad, it's decent audio. So a 4 out of a 5 for the audio. Now for the special features, guys, I'm gonna give it pretty high marks. Actually a 4.5 out of a 5, because this actually has a lot of really great special features, including a 40-minute Q&A with the cast from one of the members of the Lonely Island band with Andy Samberg. Not Andy Samberg, but one of the people that are in that band with him, one of the people that were involved in films like Hot Rod, MacGruber. And he actually in the Q&A talks about how he was inspired by them, and there's a lot of like Easter eggs in his movies from the movie Rad. So he was a huge Rad fan. Got to do this Q&A, and it was a really awesome interview because he was such a fan. So, you know, you had Talia Shire in there, who seemed like really enthusiastic and just awesome to be back talking about Rad, which is really cool because, you know, she's been in so many movies like outside of Rocky, but she's an iconic character from Rocky. For her to come back and to do this Q&A for Rad is actually really cool. It makes me think just a little bit higher of Talia Shire. So you also had Bill Allen, the main character of the movie, came back, so no shame there as well. He comes back, talks about this movie. It was a really cool special feature that I enjoyed. Now, it was already included in the Vinegar Syndrome release. They actually talk about the 4K scan during the interview, so it is on that one, but it's nice that they kind of brought this over to this release as well. There's also a music video, there's behind the scenes featurette, there's archival video interviews from like back in the 80s, so tons of special features. There's actually probably around an hour of special features for this. So for this release for Mill Creek, like Mill Creek isn't exactly known for their special features, and yeah, they did a really good job bringing all of these to it. Not all the special features from the Vinegar Syndrome release, but most of them. So Special features, guys, I got to give it a 4.5 for this release. So combining all of those scores together, guys, this is going to get pretty high marks for an overall release. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, with the only thing really dragging it down is the movie itself with the 2.5 out of 5. But if you are a fan of RAD already, if this is a movie that you already love, this is absolutely a must buy. I highly recommend it just for the packaging, for the features, visuals, audio, all of that stuff. Obviously, it's not the definitive version. The Vinegar Syndrome one is, but if you don't want to pay $300 for that release, if you just want to pay $25 and own the movie, this is an awesome way to own this movie. So definitely recommend buying it. Use the purchase link down below if you are interested. But with that, guys, we are finished with my review of RAD today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment down below your thoughts on RAD. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for future videos, and we'll see you next time.